The start of our journey has always been content. He's as harami as the next guy. Shyam Benegal will tell his story in one way, and you'll have a Madhur Bhandarkar telling it in another way.
We have with us the enterprising CEO of UTV, Mr. Siddharth Kapur. Pleasure having you back on Bollywood Hungama.
Great to be back.
In fact, why I say enterprising is because I think the kind of work that UTV is doing, and I've seen Mr. Kapur, the kind of work that he has been doing, and there's a certain amount of sincerity that we see in his work, and that's reflecting in the work of UTV as well. When we see to UTV, I think the story, the kind of script that you guys are selecting has been the hallmark for you guys through and through.
I think Faridoon, with us, we've been a content company all through our existence. So from the time that Ronnie Screwvala set up the company in 1990, we've been making television content for most of the major channels, whether it was us going into the gaming business, going into the animation business, and finally in the movie business. The start of our journey has always been content. So from that perspective, it always for us starts with a script. There's no other way we know. So when people say that here's one company which starts with a script, I think most people we interact with, most of the production houses do exactly the same thing. I think it boils down to the selection of the material. And of course, it's a movie business. You never know what's going to work and what's not going to work. Thankfully, more often than not, what we've picked has worked, and that's how we hope that it continues.
I think you're having a very interesting slate of films for 2012. We saw the Dishum Dishum 2012 the other day, and quite interesting promos. I think Barfi is looking very good.
Thank you.
And so is Heroine, and I think Love Shavte Chicken Kareena is looking very interesting. Tell us something about your slate for 2012 and how...
So, it is a really interesting slate. It's a very eclectic mix of all sorts of movies. So, from an Ek Mein Aur Ek Tu and from a Tere Na Love Ho Gaya to a Pan Singh Tomar to a Love Shavte Chicken Kareena to a Rowdy Rathod to a Barfi to a Heroine to a Joker and to a Race 2. Sure. I think it's a really interesting slate in terms of we've got something for everyone in there. And that's what we've always tried to do, I mean, in a year when we had a Rang De Basanti, we had a Khosla Ka Ghosla. In a year when we had a Rajniti, we had something like an Udan. In a year with a Jodha Akbar, we had a Wednesday. So we've always tried to mix it up in terms of the slate of movies that we offer. And this year, I think we've managed to do that too.
Tell us something about Barfi. I believe you're having some B school students that are designing the marketing campaign for Barfi. What exactly is that initiative all?
Well, that's actually a marketing initiative, because the film is a film that's centered around the youth. I mean, the audience for the film is going to be the youth finally. So we thought it would be interesting to open it up and to really give B school students an opportunity to present what it is that they think the film should be marketed as. Also, it is quite a marketing challenge, the film, because it's a very beautiful story, very youthful in some ways, and to be able to represent it properly, we don't want it's with Basu's films. It's difficult to categorize them into a genre. So you can't just say it's a romance. You can't just say it's a drama. You can't just say it's a musical. It is all of those things, and it is neither of them singularly as well. So to find that right mix in how you want to convey what the movie is about, we thought it might be interesting to open it up and use it as a case study.
I think a lot of people have preconceived notions. In fact, for Barfi, I had this preconceived notion that autistic hain agar Priyanka and I don't know, they are deaf and dumb. Pata nahi kya, bahut hi kuch serious type ki film hogi. But when you see the promo, it looks entertaining.
Yeah,
the background music looks really fun. In fact.
Yeah, no, I think the idea around the promo was really to break that perception, because we all know the movie that we're making, and it's only fair when people read a one line somewhere in some article that tells them that it is the story of a boy who is deaf and dumb. They will tend to assume that it might be a very serious film. But actually it's not. I mean, he just happens to be deaf and dumb, but he's as harami as the next guy. He's as flirtatious, he's as naughty, he's as, he wants to flirt with women as much. So I think what we wanted to convey really was that it wasn't a heavy film. Of course it's got depth, it's got drama, it's got emotion, it's got great music. But at the same time, there is a certain amount of humor also to it. And I think that's what we wanted to convey with the film.
Now, another film which is eagerly awaited, it's been spoken about a lot even before the shooting was started, that is Heroine. What went into the selection for Heroine and then how Aishwarya Rai was dropped? I think that can make for a story in its own way. In fact, that can make for a movie in its own way. And it's Madhur Bhandarkar. He's going his own way. Tell us something about Heroine. The promo looks interesting.
It's one of the most eagerly awaited films of the year. We're pretty confident we'll be able to live up to the expectations. Madhur and Kareena supercharged supercharged about the film. They're putting their lives into it. We've got a great cast, and Madhur is supercharged up. I mean, it's a beautiful script, so we're expecting to see fireworks.
When you see the promo of Heroine, there will be a few comparisons with the Dirty Picture because that is very fresh in the minds of people. Will you be making conscious attempt that there should be a new story to be told and people should be coming in with the fresh perspective?
You know, there's going to be no conscious attempt to do so because I think it'll happen naturally once the promos come out. It is a very different film. This is a film about an actress in a contemporary, in a contemporary environment. She's living out her life in the way that it is today, in the rough and tumble of the current world. In that sense, I think it is very different to any other film. Even a Bhumika was on the life of an actress. But you can tell, a Shyam Benegal will tell his story in one way, and you'll have a Madhur Bhandarkar telling it in another way. So I think there will be comparisons naturally, but I think as soon as the promos come out, everyone will realize it's a very different film.
No, I think Bhumika came a long time back, and the fact is that the Dirty Picture is very fresh in the mind of people. That maybe that is one perspective.